Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. We're here to talk to you about what is an income producing activity so that you can maximize the success in your business. This was the #1 request that you made when we had our survey. Thank you all for filling that out.
And just so you know who we are, this is Lynn Kemper
Lynn Kemper.
and Mark Addis.
And Mark Addick. So, hello, everybody. Before we actually get into the training, there's just something I want you to think about. The purpose of organizing your schedule and really having a very organized way to
Approach your
expand your
day.
business, approach your day, reach other people is #1 so that you get value out of what you're doing. So that matches the mission statement of Isogenics to free people from physical and financial pain so that you can lean into that. And also, most importantly, so that we're organized in a way that we can reach as many people as possible, that we can properly be of service, that we can give the best possible customer service to anyone that we meet, to show them a better way and to bring hope to other people. I mean, it's such a powerful thing that we're able to do. So what we want to do is we want to walk through how to rock your schedule, how to organize the time that you dedicate to Isogenics so that it's most productive and you can reach the widest variety of people and really set the tone for success. Anything you want to say?
No, I was just going to say, really, it's all about organization, and once you're organized, you can be that much more efficient for yourself, and as Lynn said, for everyone else that we are intending to serve.
So 2 things we're going to cover. We're going to cover what are income producing activities and what aren't income producing activities, so that when you can evaluate your day and the time that you're giving to Isogenics, you really know clearly, is this going to take me closer to or further from my goals? Is what I'm doing going to create production? The other thing we're going to talk to you about is time management, because the two go hand in hand. And so I just want to read a quote from Kathy Coover. I love this. She said, 20 years of experience in this profession has taught me the key components for success. One is time management, and the other is the importance of staying focused on income producing activities. And remember, she was #1 or top income earner in 3 separate companies, so she knows the journey that you're going through. So let's get right into it. What is an income producing activity, which from now on we're going to call IPA, income producing activity? It's an activity that gets you paid. And 80% of your Isogenics time should be spent on income producing activities. So when you're planning your week, take a moment and ask yourself, how many hours am I going to spend in my Isogenics business? So you need to know that. So if you could write down how many hours a day and then add that up, how many hours a week am I spending on my Isogenics business? If you could write that down, it's going to be of use to you as we walk through this schedule. So if 80% of your time is spent on income producing activities, this is such an important thing to track. So if you're doing 3 hours a day Isogenics time, that means 2.5 of those hours needs to be dedicated to income producing activities. So that's the first step. So what we want to do is, before we really break down those income producing activities, I just want to share a thought with you. Learning how to master your schedule takes time. It's an essential skill in our business, but if it's not really clear to you yet, that's okay. That's what we all go through on our journey to success. Most of us come from a corporate environment, or have our own small business, or we're working by appointment. So we have a schedule that's been set for us since we were kids, pretty much, in school all the way through. So learning how to monitor your own schedule when there's no boss, there's no criteria for success, like I have to see 7 people as a hairdresser in the course of one day, or this many appointments as a physical therapist. When you don't have that schedule, it takes a little more time to learn how to master your productivity, and that's what we're going to show you today. Is there anything you want to add to that?
It's a skill. It's a simple skill, but it's a skill.
Yeah, it's definitely a skill. Okay, so let's talk about exactly what is an income producing activity, and we actually wrote it out as a list for you, and we'll take a picture of this, a screenshot, and send it to all of you. We'll post it on TMA. But an income producing activity is connecting, it's presenting, it's sharing the Isogenics tools, it's following up, enrolling, 3-way calls, in-home tastings, meetings with prospects, and pouring greatness into others. So that's when you're doing any of these activities in your Isogenics time, you're doing something that's going to lead to earning an income. So that's a really important thing to keep track of. The non-income producing activities are also really important to your business, but you should not count them as something that's going to create income. They're going to lead you to the skill set that you need to be able to create income. It's going to help you shape and organize your business. So Mark, why don't you walk through what those are?
Sure, and these essential steps, they, as Lynn said, they relate to the IPAs closely, but they're more about developing you. They're concentrating on filling in gaps and adding value and positivity into your business. It's adding kind of a layer in terms of how you present things, how you feel about yourself and your business. And so here's a list of non-income producing activities. Podcasts.
Listening to podcasts.
Branding, which is focused primarily on social media. Goals, writing out your goals every day. Gratitudes, waking up every morning and putting yourself in a positive state through gratitudes. Declarations, which are, it can be declarations or affirmations, but it's a positive statement about an intention that you have for your business or for yourself, for your family. Learning, scripts, attending events, vision boards, super key, coaching with your leader and your team, and then visiting with your team, actually having meetings with your team, Zoom calls or conference calls.
So all of those things are important to your business, but you don't count them in your power hours. You don't count them
as part of your 2.5 out of 3 hours every day.
And a lot of people have a tendency to spend more time on this side than they do on this side.
Because they're fun.
They're fun, and they make you feel good, and they're more comfortable than these are, because these are the absolute essential steps you need to take to be successful in our business, because really our business is about talking to people, and it's talking to a lot of people to make your business a success so that we can reach out and help people. These help you become the person that can reach out to people. Something like this, posting is an income producing activity, especially when you're leading it to a contact. But when you're commenting on your team, you're being a good team player, but that's not an income producing activity. Talking to your leader helps you grow and solve problems, but it is not an income producing activity. Talking with someone out in the world about Isogenics, that is an income producing activity.
So you can really look at the non-IPAs as supportive, foundational, key and essential to income producing activities, but they're not going to directly generate revenue for you.
So it's training camp here, production here. These are needed for you to reach your income goals and really build a business. Okay, these are foundational, these are productive. Okay, just so we're really clear. So what we'd like to do is just kind of walk through a few of these so you get a sense of them. But what I want to tell you is the good news is all of these topics are going to be covered in your training. So we have
individual training,
individual weekly training that we're providing. The leaders in Team Massive Action are going to be providing for you each week, and then also you're going to be getting it from ISO Warrior Training. So it shows you how important this training is and these topics are, because ISO Warrior Challenge, Susan Sly, all the leaders in Isogenics, sponsored by corporate, are going to be training you on each of these skills, and so are we. So you know the value of them. So half an hour each week, and we'll tell you when they're going to be covered. Okay, so again, if we're clear, an income producing activity, 80% of your Isogenics time. This is what leads to creating commission and income for you.
Money.
Yeah, money. Non-income producing activities are the things that help you, that fill you up and help you become the person that is a massive connector and of service to a massive number of people. But that's 20% of your time. That is not going to lead to income. It's going to set you up so you become the person who can create income. Very important to know the two, so that when you're evaluating your time each week, you can see, is this taking me closer to or further from my goals? This will take, if you're spending all your time here, you're not going to achieve your goals. You have to be spending time here. That's all. Just know it. Know what is going to get you to your success. Anything you want to add?
No, it's perfect.
Okay, so we're going to just touch on each of these activities briefly, just so it's clear in your mind. We're going to keep it kind of short because the training is coming for you. So, connecting. What does connecting look like if you want to be successful in isogenics? First of all, it means that it's something you're doing regularly. I have to tell you this. If you step away from connecting, when you come back, it feels like you're starting all over again. Doesn't it, Mark?
It does.
I dropped his glasses. It feels like you're starting all over again. So all these skills, the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
And the more fun they become.
And the more fun it becomes. So connecting is just reaching out to people. And if you get yourself in a connecting mindset, it's pretty much something you want to do everywhere you go all the time. In fact, when Taylor and I will go out to dinner sometimes, I'll say, Mom, are you really going to keep talking to people everywhere we go? But that's what we do. So if I'm in the grocery store at Wegmans and I'm in the organic aisle and someone is picking up, oatmeal, I'm going to walk over to her and say, oh, that's oatmeal. Is that gluten-free? I've been looking for a good gluten-free oatmeal. What do you think of it? And all that does is it opens the dialogue between yourself and another person. If I'm standing in line at a bank, and someone has a really beautiful shirt on. I mean, I love the color pink, obviously. I might say, that's a great shade of pink. It's my favorite color. Where'd you get that shirt? And again, it starts a dialogue. I walk down the street, and if I see someone with a shirt on I like, I'll say, where'd you get that shirt? It's beautiful. And even if it only becomes an encounter where you make someone else smile, it's teaching you a skill, but it's also spreading out really great positive vibrations to the universe. And often you'll find that it turns into a conversation because people love to be noticed, don't they, Mark?
Yeah, I'd love to be noticed. And the other thing to keep in mind here, I think that's really essential, is don't feel pressure that you have to get isogenics into a conversation with somebody you've just met in the first 30 seconds. It's going to be weird. It's just going to be weird. And it's the last thing that you want to do. This is another human being that you are reaching across that gulf between you and them because you don't know them. And there are a lot of people that get nervous about that. But if you just look at it as fun and you're really sincerely interested in knowing, is that an oatmeal that you really love, and how long have you been eating it, and why do you like it so much, right? And so family, occupation, recreation, motivation, form, right? If you are really being of service to that other person and you're sincerely interested in them as a human being, just ask them a question. Or as Lynn said, I love your shirt, fabulous shoes, great bag. And yes, guys, you can compliment women on their handbags.
Yeah, he does. So form, what Mark was just talking about, family, occupation, recreation, motivation. If you just have that as a filter that's running through the back of your mind when you're connecting with people, they're the things that people most naturally go to when they want to talk to you. So if I'm running into a mother at a grocery store, family's going to be the first thing I talk about. Are your kids back in school? Do they like their teachers? How are they adjusting to the year? What are you packing them for lunch? So again, it's just conversation that you connect with another person. So a couple things you want to start to do is become observant. And when you're observant, notice what's nice and positive about that other person, because everybody has something so special about them. So I might say, wow, that's a really great shirt. Where'd you get it? It's polo. Where'd you get that? I love the stripes. I mean, something simple like that it's a conversation opener, right? So just keep that in mind and just start to make that your filter. In the beginning, this is what I hated most. I think most people do. When I first realized I had to connect with lots of people every day. Now I love doing it, but it made me nervous. And the main reason that it made me nervous was that I felt like I had to talk about isogenics every time I met someone. So I was like, just waiting, nervous.
When can I get it in? When can I get it in?
Yeah, and worried about them judging me, or that I would feel kind of awkward in doing it, or I would feel salesy. And you don't need to feel that way. It's human interaction. It's you seeing what's going on in that person's life. And this happens all the time. I'll say, how are you doing? And I look honestly at that other person into their eyes. And I am silent. I'm not filling in the blanks with my own nervous energy.
Or thinking about what you're going to say next so you don't hear anything that they say.
Yeah, a lot of times what I'm going to hear from them shortly is what is most in their heart. which is usually right now in this world today, stress about money, stress about working really too many jobs to try to pay the bills, not having any time, or stress about how they're feeling physically.
Yeah, they just don't feel great.
And so if you're listening to that and you're tuning up the volume of what they're saying to you in your heart, it doesn't mean at that moment I'm going to say, I've got an answer for you. But what I'm going to say to them is, you know, it's great talking to you. I hope things really get better for you. And if it's not the right moment and I don't feel it in my heart, I'm going to say, you know what, I'd love to stay in touch with you. And are you on Facebook? Easiest one. People don't mind Facebook.
That's the key right there.
And then I will always, if it doesn't feel right in that conversation, I'll make sure I reach back to them within 24 hours. Hi, Mark. It was so nice meeting you. Really enjoyed our conversation. And at that moment, I may say to him, I was thinking a lot about what you said to me and some of the stress that you're feeling in your life. And I was feeling the same way, and I would love to share something with you if you have a few moments. It may or may not be the answer you're seeking, but it might. And so, sincerely from my heart, trying to be of service to him. That's how connecting happens, and it doesn't always happen in the first conversation. Sometimes it might be, you know, a year later. It might be 7 conversations later. If you're talking to lots and lots of people, Eric Worre said, have lots of planes on the runway. Have them always on the runway. And every once in a while, that plane's going to take off, and then another one's going to take off, and another one's going to take off. So you're just filling your pipeline with all these people and lives that you're touching, and that's really the purpose of connecting.
And one other thing I want to highlight in connecting, and I think this is, I was having a conversation yesterday with one of our teammates, and this is a place where he gets nervous, and I think where a lot of people get nervous. So you take your heart in your hands, you take the leap of faith, and you reach out to that person and say something, comment on something they're wearing, let's say. And then they answer back. And there's always, I think, many times there's concern or fear, okay, once they say that, then what am I going to say next? And I think the key there is if you're really listening to what they say and you're thinking about asking questions, because that's what this really is all about, so that you can sincerely find out about that person, the seed of your next question is going to come in their answer to your first question. And then it just starts rolling forward. So if you're really listening and paying attention, it's actually super easy to know what you're going to say next, because it's a question.
Yeah. So connecting, we're going to cover more thoroughly as we move forward. We'll tell you when in just a minute. So just a few other really quick ones. Connecting through social media. Join groups. Think of things that you love, your passions in your life, and they're the groups you want to join. Network marketing groups. I know we're passionate about network marketing, but there's so many, it's so overcrowded, and it's pretty much a pitch fest. So think about your personal loves. I just recently joined a Facebook group for moms of gap year students. Imagine that. I didn't even know there would be one, but I just gave it a shot. And when I was accepted into the group, I introduced myself. So it's a really important thing for you to remember. So I said, hi, I'm Lynne Kemper. So happy to be here. I'm starting off on this challenging time in our lives, wanting to make sure I'm giving my son, the best possible experience in his gap year. Would love to hear about all of your experiences. And so I introduced myself, and then I'm active on the page so that I'm a go-to person. People want to get to know me. And as we develop relationships on that page, I check the people on the page, how many contacts, how many people are their friends, do they have a big base of friends, and those people are the ones I'll spend time with, but I'll friend request them, and then I'll start private messaging them. So everything you do when you make a contact in Facebook, when you're connecting on Facebook, you always want to move it to a friend and then to a private connection. Okay, reconnecting is when you're reaching out to people that are on your list that you've known over the years, that are your longer term connections, and you're always reaching to them. So it might be someone who is on my monthly contact or my quarterly contact, and I'll reach out to them and say, hey, why don't we meet for a cup of coffee? Why don't we take a walk after you drop your kids off at school? So it's just a way to stay in touch and keep your list moving and vibrant. Anything you want to add there?
No, that's good.
Okay, so we will cover in more detail on TMA training on September 11th on connecting, and ISO Warrior is going to cover connecting on September 4th. So here's an action plan for you. Go out in public, like your local mall, and connect. Just talk to people and have fun with it. Add everyone you meet to your Facebook page and your list. Reconnect with people that you haven't spoken to for a few weeks and say hi. If you're not comfortable doing this by yourself, take your leader with you and go connect with them and take turns doing it so you can watch it happen. Okay, next skill is presenting.
And remember, that's an income-producing activity.
That is. Yes.
It's fun, so it gets you out of the house, it gets you out into the world.
We love doing this.
Yeah.
We do it at least once a week, and we have so much fun, and we meet so many wonderful new people. All right, so next skill is presenting. This is the next income-producing activity. The first was connecting. The next is presenting. And this is not rocket science, so we don't need to spend a whole lot of time on it. And also, Amanda's going to train on this, and she's a rock star in training presenting. So if you have passion about what you do, if you have the tools, you've got a rock star presentation. That's really all you need to know. Use the tools, have your passion, and you're on your way.
Yeah, just be excited about your topic.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. And then after you do a presentation, whether it's sending out something or you're doing it in person with people, ask the question, what did you like about what you saw? What excited you the most? And you'll get used to asking these questions. They'll feel natural in time. And Amanda will talk more about this as we move forward. When you ask these questions, though, this is key. Zip it and listen. Zip it and listen.
2 ears, 1 mouth.
They used to say,
there's a reason for that.
when I was first learning, they used to say, imagine putting duct tape over your mouth. How many times I had to do that or pinch my lips shut so I wouldn't speak. So that's just nervous energy. So just ask the question, let the person have time to process, and then answer the question. Okay, so again, the training for presenting is going to be on October 2nd in TMA with Amanda, and ISO Warrior Challenge is going to train on that on September 25th. Action plan, schedule a home party. They're so much fun. Or plan a home party with a few of your teammates, and then volunteer to be a speaker. Okay, so first income producing activity is connecting, second is presenting, third is follow-up. This is another essential skill. Do you want me to do this or you want to do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is another essential skill in our business. You must always, 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 when following up, this is key, make sure when you finish the first conversation, you have an appointment for the second. This removes a lot of that stress that we all feel.
You should really say that one again.
Okay.
Because
why don't you say?
And look, guys, in all transparency, I still have work to do on this, because you get so excited about what you've said and you get excited about their excitement that it's easy to forget that it's so critical in moving the process along. Before you disconnect from that person, whether it's a Zoom call, whether it's a phone call, whether you're in person, you must have the next appointment scheduled. Otherwise, it's going to get weird.
You're going to be chasing them.
You're going to be chasing them.
And that's when you start to hate the business, or you get nervous around the business. You think, oh, I'm always chasing people. Do you ever feel that way? I did in the beginning.
And so remember, as the CEO of your own business, you run this like a business. Because if you run it like a business, not a hobby, it's going to pay you like a business. So it's not weird as a CEO. You're organized. Hey, I'm really busy, and I really want to make sure that we reconnect. When can we do that? When would it work for you best? And you set the appointment.
Yeah, and it feels only weird to you because it's new, but to them it's not going to feel weird. It's never felt that way when I've interacted with someone. So
it actually works better for them.
Yeah, it's like, so Mark, it was great talking to you. I think I've got something that's really going to solve this problem for you. I'm going to send you a video. When would be a good time for you to take a look at it?
Well, let's see. It's Tuesday, so I think really the rest of the week's crazy. Sometime over the weekend.
Okay, so it's like Saturday, you thinking?
Yeah, I think Saturday late afternoon would be good.
Okay, so how about if I send you a video? Would around 4 o'clock be a good time for you?
Yeah, 4:30 I think would work better.
Okay, so a few minutes before 4:30, I'm going to send you a video.
Okay.
Okay, and then you're definitely gonna have questions, so write them down when you watch it.
Okay.
And then how about if we speak around 4:45? Give you a chance to look at it, and then I can get your questions answered.
That's perfect.
Okay, so Saturday at 4:30,
You're going to send me a video.
I'm going to send you a video. And 4:45, I'm going to give you a call. What's the best number to reach you?
My mobile.
Okay. All right, so I'll call you on your mobile, and I can't wait to speak to you. You're going to love the information.
I look forward to it.
It's that simple. You're setting an appointment. Then I've asked him a couple times. I've confirmed the appointment with him. That makes it more locked in his mind. But then I'm also respecting his time and mine, right? So it's important follow-up. So we're going to cover follow-up. with you on TMA on September 18th. And ISA Warrior is going to be covering follow-up on September 11th. See how important it is?
And
we're all covering
this
it.
is going to be a really fun one, you guys, because there's some amazing statistics. We're not going to get into them now about how much or how little people actually follow up.
So when you do, you set yourself apart from everyone else. And think about it this way. When you're following up properly, you're delivering excellent customer service. And that is a great and important statement about who we are in Isogenics. So action plan. Take a look at your list. Find a reason to follow up with 5 people. Even just to check in and see how their kids are doing going back to school. Meet someone for coffee. Have a post-kid drop-off walk that you schedule. Okay, follow up. Okay, so first income producing activity is connecting. Second was presenting. Oops. Third is follow up. Oh, and presenting is also sharing the Isogenics tools,
right,
which will be covered moving forward. Okay, so the fourth skill is 3-way calls. These are so important in our business, and they're so underutilized. So what's the purpose of a three-way call? It's social proof. It's social validation. It's so that person in their mind can say, well, yeah, of course, Mark looks great. I mean, look at those muscles. He's a thin guy, right? So what they need to hear is someone beyond Mark sharing their story.
I'm not a thin guy. I'm a built guy.
You're a built guy. Sorry. But someone besides Mark sharing their story, it's validation. And so it's exceptionally important. And we're going to train on this for you. You're going to understand it clearly. We're going to cover 3-way calls, and you're going to love it. So, you know, we're not going to get into that right now, but I want to tell you 3-way calls only sound weird because you think they're weird, because it's new. And also, if you call it a 3-way call, they're going to think it's weird. All you do is say, look, I've got my friend Mark. He's a triathlete. I know you're really interested in how this performance line works. You're going to hear it much more clearly from him than you are from me. So I'm just going to ask him to be available when we speak.
Or I've got my partner, Lynne, who's a former Wall Streeter, who's really understands this compensation plan. She's great with it. She's really nice, really easy to talk to, and I'd love for you guys to meet each other.
Yeah. So just like that, really simple. And so we'll give you some really good scripts for that so you can get comfortable with it. So 3-way calls are going to be covered November 3rd on our TMA Zoom. And we're going to break it down and make it really clear for you how to do it, how to master it. Okay, so income producing activities so far: connecting, presenting, sharing the tools, following up, and the last one.
And then we just did 3-way calls.
And 3-way calls. And then the last one is enrolling. This is essential. It's all about, this is the coolest part of our business, because when we enroll someone, we take them on a journey. We change their lives. We just take a moment and say thank you to the person who enrolled you in this business, because think about how much your life has changed because of Isogenics.
And think how much, like, this person, your new teammate, our new teammate, doesn't yet know what's going to happen to them. They are going to feel so much better, and as we all know, in just a matter of days. That's exciting.
And also they get hope. Hope in so many ways. I think about it every day. Where would we be in our lives if we never had Isogenics introduced to us? So thank you, Julie. So just remember that. It's an important responsibility. Get people through the experience so that they can step into that hope as well.
Help them, coach them.
Help them, because it's such a gift we have to give, and that's what we are, and we're in the business of hope. Our mission statement is to free people from physical and financial pain. So let's make sure we do that. We'll talk more about enrolling and teach you about it as we move forward. It's going to be trained, launching a new associate on September 25th. In our team call, and ISA Warrior will feature launching new associates on September 18th. Okay, here we go. Let's run through what are non-income producing activities, Mark.
Okay, so just to run through the list again, right? Podcasts, listening to podcasts every day. It could also be, instead of scrolling through Facebook before you go to bed, you read 5 pages of a book that you've been looking forward to or thinking about. Could be back to How to Connect, the best work ever, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. So you read 5 pages of that before you go to bed. Branding.
And podcasts are also just There are also things like listening to Zach and Eden's training, listening to some of the fabulous trainings that came out of Rock and Roll to Executive, or the podcast on isagenixpodcast.com. So there are lots of places to go and gather that information. So it's either personal growth reading books, which is great, the suggestions are fabulous, or listening to podcasts.
And when can you do that? Because you're trying to figure out when in your day, right? This is 30 minutes if you're working three hours a day in your Isagenix business. It could be on your way to the grocery store, in your car, somewhere in your car, somewhere during the day.
Roving University.
Roving University. It could be at the gym.
That's what I do. I listen to podcasts at the gym all the time.
So instead of listening to music, depending upon how intense your workout is, it could be listening to podcasts. So there's definitely time in your day. You just have to figure out when that is.
And also there's no BV in TV. So it's making a decision instead of turning on the television to read or listen to something that will help change the financial future of your entire family. Okay.
Branding. And this is really specifically tied to social media. We're not going to get into detail on this because, as Lynn said earlier, there's going to be a separate training on social media. But Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and then how many times are you posting a day, and what do those posts look like? So we'll get into more detail when we get into the specific training. Goals. Writing down your goals every single day. It's so important to have intentionality around that. So it could be something as simple as, I'm going to be a crystal executive by, and then you make it specific. Because they have to be measurable, they have to be actionable, there has to be a time frame around those goals. But keep it simple in the beginning. Gratitudes. So important. You wake up, we do this every day, you wake up in the morning, and to make sure that you put your energy and your mindset in a great place, what are you grateful for? And just list 10 things that you're grateful for. It could be, I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for this fantastic house that I live in.
I'm grateful for the sunny day and the sunrise this morning. I'm grateful for this warm cup of tea that tastes so good at this moment. It can be simple. So just gratitude, starting to have that as your main filter, that what you see life through, the lens you see life through, is one of great gratitude. So it's so good. Okay.
Declarations. Declarations are a statement of intention. They're a little bit different than affirmations. We're not going to get into this distinction now. We'll do that when we train. But a declaration, it looks like this. I will
be crystal executive by.
Right.
I can.
I can.
I am.
I will.
Yes.
Right? So declarations are really powerful because why? They carry with them, when you say them out loud, really important, every morning and every night, ideally, they have a frequency, they have an energy, they have a vibration. The universe responds to that, and when you touch your head or your heart as you're declaring, there's an energy that your body feels. And I know it sounds a little bit hokey. When I first started doing it, I was like, oh, really? Seriously? But it works, you guys. I'm just going to say that it works.
So I am a crystal executive. I am a crystal executive. I am a crystal executive. The more you say it, the more you feel it. The more you believe it, the more you become it. Okay, it's a process. So learning scripts, just critical to our business. It's a skill set business. Anything you do, any profession that you're in, you need to train. This is your training ground. So learning how to comfortably present, you share, they share. Learning how to comfortably present, having a closing conversation, learning how to comfortably present the value pack. All of those things are scripts that take, and I say, we do it over and over again. We retouch on our skills. We'll practice with each other, and that is essential so that it becomes natural when you're doing it. Attending events, key to your business. Key to your business. You must attend events, but that does not count as an income-producing activity. That's your personal growth.
Yeah, that's building you.
Right. Coaching with a leader or with your team. Okay. True confession. This is a mistake I made in such a huge way when I first started in our business, and some of my original teammates will confirm this for you. I'd spend an hour with each teammate like a couple times a week. And we were talking about gratitudes and goals and building beliefs, but I was not doing income producing activities. And that is management mode. It's an easier mode to be in than being in production mode. It is. It's more fun in the beginning, but it's not production. And you're not leading. Speed of the leader, speed of the pack. You should be this person who's recruiting more than anyone else on your team, right? You should be the person doing more income producing activities than anyone else on your team. So don't fall into that. You have a little team. You're not supposed to be coaching them. You're supposed to be leading them, and you're leading them by your actions. Okay?
There's so much coaching available online.
Yeah, you don't need to be doing
that.
that.
You don't need to be spending time with that.
Stay away from it. Run away from it like the plague.
It's a black hole of time.
Let them drop into the team training. Let them drop into ISO Warrior Challenge. Step up to 2-star. There's all the training they need there. You don't need to be doing it. You need to be loving on your team, but that doesn't count. Does not count as an income producing activity. So if you're looking at your business and your time and you're saying to yourself, okay, so what did I do last week? How come I'm not cycling more? Look and see, how did you spend your time last week? That's why we want to spend enough time with this to make it really clear in your mind what's leading you to income and what is not leading you to income. Okay, so coaching your team, spending time with teammates, visiting with a friend for an hour on the phone, none of those things are going to get you to the goals that you've set for yourself, income goals. Visiting with your team, same thing. So just keep that in mind. Know when you're doing what you're doing and where it's taking you. Okay, because it takes the mystery out of your production. Okay, so
what's key? And we hear leaders say this all the time. When you think about what you should be doing, it's out connecting with new people every day. Because who is it that needs our help the most? People that we don't know yet. And prospecting, enrolling, helping other people, supporting them once they start on the products. The most important way to spend your time. Simple, right? It's really simple. Everything else here, all these non-IPAs, they're going to support you. They're going to grow you. They're going to act as the
catalyst.
A catalyst. They're the glue in a way that holds a lot of your business together. But as Lynn said, they are specifically not going to grow your income, which is, for those of us who have made the decision for this to be a business, that's the number one priority.
And also for the story that you're going to be able to tell and share with others as you deliver hope. You need your own story, and you need to take the walk down through these skills so that you can be of service to other people. Okay, so this is part 1 of our training on income versus non-income producing activities. Our intention for you is for you to have the 2 parts. One is what they are so you can identify them, and the second part is how to manage your time and maximize your production. So we're going to stop this call right here so that we break it into 2 different sequences so we don't overwhelm you with how long we're on this call, this training. So we're going to stop it, and then we're going to start it right up again, and we're going to cover time management. So we'll say good night to you all. Follow this, learn this, ask us questions.
And look forward to the upcoming training.
And enjoy the experience. It's so much fun to light the flame of hope in other people. And also to set a plan for yourself to create financial freedom. And there's nothing like it when you get off the clock and out of the corporate world. It's so amazing.
Amen to that.
It's our hope for all of you. So take care, and we'll catch you on the next Zoom training.